Let's do some practice sentences for lesson 4. So this is looking at the present active indicative verb tense as well as the first and second declension nouns. So focusing a lot here on case recognition, nominative, genitive, dative, and accusative, and thinking about how those cases make nouns operate their meaning in a particular sentence. So let's begin. Again, these are from Clayton Croy's Primer of Biblical Greek. Practice and review sentence number 2, reading it in Greek. Thelamen didaskein tekna, ala ou thelusi genoskein alethean. Thelamen didaskein tekna, ala ou thelusi genoskein alethean. Notice we have at the very beginning our verb and another verb, didaskein, followed by our only noun. So, how do we know what we have here? Thelamen, we. Why is it we? Because it's a first person plural. So this is a first person plural, present active indicative. We want. Now, want is one of those verbs, or desire. We want is one of those verbs that needs some complement. We want what? We want Snickers bars. We want candy. We want a Chipotle burrito. It's around lunchtime for me. And so what is it that we want? Well, often these verbs that need helpers have an infinitive attached. We haven't talked a lot about the infinitives, but we've introduced them. And didaskein is that present active infinitive. And those infinitives get translated as to whatever the verbal idea is. And didaskein is from the verb didasko, I teach. So we want to teach tekna. This is a neuter noun, neuter plural, children. And this is the direct object. So remember, in the neuters, in the second declension, that neuter nominative and neuter plural are the same. It's hard to tell them apart. How do we know that tekna is not the subject of our sentence? Well, because it's we. And so unless the we talking here are these same children, and it doesn't make, we need some direct object. So the context here is telling us that tekna is serving as the direct object of the verb. Ala ou thelusi genoskein alethein. So we have the second clause of our sentence marked by this comma. Ala is the conjunction, but. Ou, our negation. Thelusi. Thelusi is, again, from thelo, to want something. And the usi ending tells me I'm looking at a third person plural, present active indicative, but they do not want genoskein. So again, thelo is a verb that likes to have a helping verb that goes with it. So we want to teach, but they do not want, and I'm saying do not, I'm adding the do to make the translation of the negation work. Literally, you could say they not want, but that doesn't make sense in English. So you have to add this do not to get the negation on the want verb. But they do not want genoskein, from genosko, I know, and this again, that ain ending, to verbal idea, to know, aletheon, truth. Now notice aletheon is in what case? Nominative, genitive, dative, or accusative. That new tells you you're looking at an accusative noun. So it's the direct object. So we would translate this: we want to teach children, but they do not want to know truth. Right? Every school teacher knows this. We want to teach children, but they do not want to know truth. Next sentence, let's skip down to sentence number 7. Tekna adelphes thelusi blepein uranan, tekna deges u blepusin oikon theu. So let's divide our sentence up into these clauses. We have this first clause, tekna adelphais thelusi blepein uranan. Tekna adelphais, children of a sister. Why of a sister? Well, children, tekna, again, could be nominative plural, or it could be accusative plural. Now, in this case, we're going to assume that it's not the accusative based on context because we have uranan, which is also an accusative singular noun. And so that accusative is kind of signaling, hey, this is the direct object of the verb. And without tekna as a nominative, we have no other nominatives in this sentence to provide us with a subject. So it just makes sense that tekna contextually is our subject. So children and adelphais, this is a genitive, singular, feminine noun. Children of a sister, thelusi, want. Thelusi is from thelo, I want. O, ace, a, amen, edi, usi, third person plural, present active indicative. They, a sister, wants, or children of a sister want. So the subject of the wanting is children. This is our subject. They want, that is the children of a sister, want blepein. This is from the verb blepo, I see, and that ain ending tells me that epsilon iota nu ending tells me I'm looking at a present active infinitive verb. Children of a slave want to see, and again, thelo is one of those verbs that likes to have a helper. They want what? Blepein, to see uranan, heaven. De, or tekna de geis. And then we have this contrasting conjunction, but tekna, but children geis of the earth or land, children of earth. Why of? Because this is a genitive singular. It's also feminine. Geis is a feminine noun. So it's children of a sister want to see heaven, but children of earth, u blepusin oikan theu. U is our negation. Do not. Blepusin, see, and that's again from blepo, I see, and it's the third person plural, present, active, indicative. They do not see oikan theu, a house of God. Now, oikon, house, we know this is our direct object because look at that ending. That oikon, that nu at the end of oikos, tells me this second declension noun is in the accusative case. This u ending at the end of theu tells me this is a genitive, masculine, singular noun. So what I really want you to be paying attention to as you're looking at these sentences is figuring out what is the case, the number, and the gender of each noun, because that's what's going to tell you what function the noun is serving in the sentence. If we just read left to right, we're going to get off track in our understanding of what the Greek text is saying. We have to begin to pay attention to, okay, where's my subject? Well, how do I find my subject? I've got to look for that nominative noun. And where's my verbs? And how do those fit together? And paying attention to the fact that the meaning of the nouns in the sentence are defined by their case, number, and gender. All right, let's keep going. Do a couple of examples from biblical text. This first example from number 7 is an excerpt from Deuteronomy 32:44. I'm going to read it in Greek. Mo ou seis elaleisen pantas tous lagus tu namu tutu eis ta ota tu lalu. So Mosues, as you would imagine, is Moses. Elaleisen, this is imperfect. This is an aorist. Spoke from laleo, spoke pantas tous lagus, all the words of this law into ace ta ota, the ears of the people. So I want you to notice here, subject of the verb. Here's our verb. Here's our subject. And we don't, the reason we know that Moses is a subject, because remember, personal names don't often decline into cases. So we just have to know based on context. And pantas tous lagus, this is all in the accusative plural case. And tu namu, on the other hand, is in the genitive singular masculine case. So it's the words, which words? The words tu namu, of the law, this law, are what Moses spoke. That is the direct object. Moses spoke. What did he speak? He spoke all these words. And then where were they directed? Into the ears of the people. One more example from the New Testament, or two more examples, excuse me. This one, number 5. Lege autois ha Jesus e tekna tu Abraham este, ta erga tu Abraham e poete. Now, I don't have this written down, but this is from the Gospel of John. And if we look in Croy, he'd tell us that this particular example is from John chapter 10, John chapter, lesson 4. We're going to be in lesson 4. This is from, it does give us this example, is from John chapter 8, verse 39. Lege autois ha Jesus. So this ha Jesus is our nominative. Again, nouns don't decline that are personal names, but the ha, that definite article, which we'll learn next week, is a nominative masculine singular. Jesus, lege, from lego, I say, says, autois, to them, the audience that he's talking to, e tekna tu Abraham este. Now, a is if, verb here, you are, it's second person plural from a me, if you are tekna, children to Abraham, of Abraham. This is an imperative verb. It's a command. Do. Do the erga, ta erga, the works of Abraham. So notably in this case, ta erga is an accusative plural, and you is the subject of the second person plural imperative, which we haven't seen imperatives yet, so just don't worry about that. But you translate the sentence, Jesus says to them, if you are children of Abraham, do the works of Abraham. Another example from Galatians 2:16, Galatians, one of my favorite books, ou dekai utai, anthropos ex ergon namu. Ou dekai utai, anthropos ex ergon namu. A person is not, this is from dikaiao, justify, is not justified ex ergon namu, from ergon, neuter, plural genitive, from works of law. And remember, this own ending tells you it's plural works, right? Because remember, we have the on, u, o, on, a, voice endings in the neuter of the second declension. So this own ending here tells you, oh, I'm looking at a plural. Works, not work of law, but works of law. And the oo ending on law tells you, oh, it's also genitive, but it's genitive singular in that instance. So in each of these cases, even though you don't know all of the words in these Septuagint and these New Testament sentences, they're good examples to kind of get you into the text, and also to see that paying close attention to the case, number, and gender of these nouns is imperative to interpreting the sentences. So I just want to encourage you, keep at it, keep going. I know we're moving into a foggy part of the text of learning Greek, and we just got to kind of keep pushing into the fog, and it will become clear the further in that we get.